All right, you've landed in the right place for the deep dive where your internet finds become our obsession.
That's us.
You sent us this seriously twisty Reddit thread, and, well, we've wrestled it into something digestible.
Yeah, consider this your cheat sheet. It saves you scrolling for hours.
Exactly. Forget the endless scrolling. We've basically mainlined this Reddit roller coaster from our best of Redditor updates. Yeah, that's the one.
So you don't have to. And today, we're unpacking a real head-scratcher of a story.
Oh, definitely. And this one kicked off with a question we've probably all, thought about in some way. What is the deal with exes? Our original poster, we'll just call him OP, hit up the Reddit hive mind with this, simple but totally loaded query. Were they the asshole AITA for blocking their married ex?
Right. An ex who wouldn't stop contacting them.
Yeah. Kept buzzing their phone, and immediately you can just feel the tension, can't you? When is it okay to cut someone off? Especially someone from your past who's, married now.
It really does throw up all sorts of interesting stuff, doesn't it? Boundaries, respecting relationships, that whole tricky area of trying to be friends after you break up.
Totally.
It's a situation that, probably resonates with a lot of folks in one way or another.
Okay, so let's rewind. August 28th, 24, the original post drops. OP lays out the backstory with Lisa.
Right.
They were together 4 years, split up about 2 years before this post. And the sticking point sounds like money stuff.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
Lisa apparently grew up pretty wealthy, silver spoon and all that, while OP was grinding away, paying off student loans. Apparently, Lisa wasn't super thrilled with the, modest apartment or lack of fancy vacations.
Well, that's a really common relationship hurdle, isn't it? Navigating those different financial backgrounds and expectations.
Yeah.
And to be fair to OP, it sounds like they kind of understood Lisa wanted a different lifestyle.
Exactly. The breakup seemed, reasonably smooth, I guess. They even stayed loosely in touch through mutual friends for a bit. OP mentions, cherishing the good times, but also realizing they were just on different paths. Then Lisa starts dating this family friend, Jason.
Jason, the wealthy family friend.
Just seemingly well-heeled Prince Charming, yeah. So the friendship with OP naturally kind of faded as Lisa's new relationship got serious. OP even moves to a different city, Green Break, right?
Seems like it. Separate lives.
Then they hear through the grapevine, maybe 6 months before the Reddit post, that Lisa and Jason got married. And OP genuinely felt happy for her, was focusing on their own career, their own life.
So for a year and a half, maybe more, complete radio silence.
Total silence. 2 separate lives. Chapter closed.
Or so you'd think.
Right. But then 3 weeks before the Reddit post, bam. Out of the blue, Lisa calls OP, unfamiliar number.
Good.
Casual chat, catching up the new house, OP's job. Seemed pretty innocent at first, maybe, reconnecting with an old friend after ages. They swapped numbers, talked for maybe 20 minutes. A little unexpected, sure, but maybe not huge alarm bells yet.
Yeah, the initial contact on its own isn't necessarily weird. People do reach out sometimes after a long time. It's what happened next that really changes things.
Oh, absolutely. The very next day, text message, photos of the new mansion.
Oof. Okay. A bit showy.
A bit much, maybe. Okay, maybe she's just excited, who knows. But then 2 days later, another call. Just driving, thought I'd say hi. Now it's feeling a little more insistent.
Right, starting to seem less random.
But hang on, because over the next 2 weeks, it just ramps up into this full-on communication barrage, near daily calls, even if OP doesn't answer, then texts explaining she just has free time. Then come the TikToks, the memes, just this constant stream of messages, and Lisa's always the one starting the conversation.
See, that level of contact, especially with her initiating pretty much everything, that definitely suggests something more than just, hey, let's be friends again. Especially since she's married. Feels like boundaries are getting crossed there.
You got it. And OP's starting to feel it too. Is Lisa unhappy, lonely? Or is OP just reading too much into it? It's confusing. So the Friday before the post goes up, OP finally sends Lisa a message. Basically, hey, this feels a bit weird considering you're married.
Okay, direct approach.
Lisa's instant reply. There's nothing wrong with us being good friends, just like before. OP tries to gently back off, mentions needing to focus on work, and then just hits block, pulls the ripcord.
A clear boundary set. Totally understandable given how persistent and, frankly, inappropriate the contact was becoming.
And that's when the drama spills out. Lisa calls their mutual friend, Jess, crying, complaining about being ghosted.
Oh boy.
Jessen basically tells everyone, spreads the word, and suddenly OP's getting grief from other friends. They're being called unreasonable, told they abandoned Lisa.
Wow. Okay, so the fallout begins.
Which brings us right back to OP's question for Reddit. AITA, Were they the jerk here?
It's such a classic am I the asshole scenario.
Yeah.
And the first wave of comments on Reddit overwhelmingly landed on one side, NTA, not the asshole.
Oh, yeah, big time. Redditors were not messing around. Someone suggested a pretty simple test, actually.
Which was?
Ask Lisa if her husband knows they're talking. And, maybe suggest adding him to a group chat.
Huh. Yeah, that's a very effective way to gauge the situation, isn't it? Transparency is usually key. Pretty sure we know how that would go down.
Exactly. Another commenter just cut straight to it, said Lisa might see OP as like a backup plan, a side piece maybe, and told OP not to get sucked in.
Blunt, but probably hitting close to home for some.
Right. And then because it's Reddit, you get the more creative theories, like maybe Lisa's husband is in some kind of closeted marriage for financial reasons.
You always get those out there takes. But yeah, the main vibe was clear. Lisa's behavior was off. OP had every right to block her.
Okay, now you got to brace yourself, because a month and a half later, October 10th, 2024, update number 1 drops.
Uh-oh.
And OP warns everyone, things have taken a seriously crazy turn since the blocking. Apparently, after getting blocked, Lisa really leaned on Jess, kept insisting she needed to have one last talk with OP.
Pushing hard.
OP was resistant at first, but, eventually caved, maybe felt bad, maybe worried.
You can kind of sense that hesitation. Yeah. But maybe also some obligation or concern, given how upset Lisa seemed.
Right. So one Saturday morning, Lisa calls, sounds totally distraught, says she desperately needs help, doesn't know who else to turn to. Oki had to calm her down before she could even talk properly.
Okay, this sounds serious now.
And trust me, the tea she spilled, piping hot.
This is where the story shifts, right? From just unwanted contact to something way heavier.
Totally. Lisa reveals that this whole whirlwind romance with Jason, not the fairy tale everyone thought. Turns out her mom was pushing for the marriage from day one. Why? Jason was loaded. Seemed like he had it all together.
So the money aspect was central from the start.
Lisa even admitted Jason offered everything OP couldn't back then. The fancy trips, no money worries.
So the very things that kind of broke them up, Lisa's desire for that lifestyle pushed her towards Jason. Looked like the perfect answer for her, maybe.
Seemed like it, but the cracks appeared almost instantly after the wedding. Big fancy wedding, of course.
Of course.
Lisa tells Oki about this party where one of Jason's college buddies got really handsy, totally inappropriate. She told Jason, who was kind of drunk, and he basically just brushed it off, told her not to be so sensitive, didn't even confront his friend.
Whoa. Okay, that's a massive red flag right there. Huge breach of trust. Not standing up to your wife? That sets a really bad precedent.
And it just goes downhill from there. Lisa finds evidence Jason and his buddies are doing drugs. And here's the kicker. Jason was apparently sleeping with most of his friends' wives.
What?
Yeah. Like, it was just how things were in their circle.
Yeah.
Lisa thinks it was happening even before they got married and definitely after. She confronts Jason. He just flies off the handle, calls her prudish.
Okay, this paints a picture of a deeply toxic, messed up environment. The cheating, the drugs, the angry dismissal of her concerns.
Yeah.
It's incredibly alarming.
And now for the really dark part. Lisa confides in OP that there had been some instances of physical abuse. Didn't give specifics, but yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That changes everything.
She tried talking to her mother about all this. Her mom was more worried about keeping up appearances, told Lisa to just try harder, please Jason so he wouldn't stray.
That is deeply upsetting. That reaction from her own mother, prioritizing reputation over her daughter's safety.
Yeah.
It just leaves Lisa feeling even more trapped and alone. Terrible.
Yeah, completely alone. She felt like she couldn't trust their mutual friends either because they all loved Jason. Why? He paid for everything, picked up the tab for all the dinners, the drinks, whatever.
The golden handcuffs, socially speaking.
So feeling totally trapped, desperate, Lisa gets a burner phone. Who does she call? The only person she thinks might actually help, OP.
The person she was relentlessly contacting before who then blocked her.
Wow, exactly.
Well,
she apologizes like crazy for dragging OP into her mess, but then just lays it out. Can OP please buy her a one-way ticket to their city so she can escape? Says she can't buy it herself. Jason controls all the money. And she doesn't trust anyone local.
That just highlights the level of control Jason had, doesn't it? And her complete desperation. Calling the ex she pushed away. That's a real last resort.
OP, understandably furious about everything Jason did, doesn't even hesitate. Buys the ticket straight away. Only sends Lisa the confirmation details when she's packed at the airport, ready to bolt.
Smart move, minimizing risk,
Lisa lands in OP's city, tells her parents she left Jason and is staying with OP, and, as you'd expect, all hell breaks loose.
Oh, I bet.
She tries to explain how horrific the marriage was, the abuse, everything, but nope, everyone jumps straight to they're having an affair.
Ugh. Of course, the immediate assumption, just completely ignoring the serious claims she's making, invalidating her whole reason for leaving.
Meanwhile, Jason's blowing up her phone, angry demands to come home now, or it's over. Then his parents get involved, calling her, pleading with her to go back.
The pressure campaign begins.
And then, get this, Lisa's mom flies out to OP's city. They have this meeting, and OP described it as truly stomach-churning. Mom was way more concerned about the family's social standing, the reputation, than anything Lisa went through.
Wow. Again, image over safety.
Yep.
Confirms exactly why Lisa felt she had nowhere else to turn, doesn't it?
Totally. So thankfully, Lisa starts talking to divorce lawyers, cuts off all contact with Jason. His initial threatening messages suddenly just stop. Silence from his end.
Interesting. Maybe he got lawyer advice, too.
Could be. Lisa ends up living with OP for the month leading up to this update. She offers rent money, but OP's like, no way, save it for the lawyers.
Good move. Sensible support.
But the social cost, massive. Mutual friends almost all sided with Jason, totally bought the affair story, cut off both OP and Lisa completely.
So now they're dealing with the trauma and being social outcasts. That's incredibly tough.
OP described Lisa as just a shadow of who she used to be. Trying to be brave, but then just breaking down, crying out of nowhere.
Understandable. Trauma manifests like that.
OP also felt strongly Lisa was still holding back, hadn't revealed the full extent of Jason's abuse. And OP just trying to provide a safe space, support her while also dealing with their own feelings, how bizarre the whole situation is, and worried about being seen as a homewrecker.
It's an incredibly complicated and emotionally draining position for OP, trying to help, navigating their past, dealing with the social fallout. Intense.
Yeah. And the edit to that first update added some key details, too. Like, Lisa deliberately left her main phone so Jason couldn't track her.
Smart. Very smart.
She hadn't told Jess or any other friends about the abuse. Jason was actively spreading this story that she only married him for money, and this escape was all a plan with OP to get alimony.
The smear campaign. Classic abuser tactic. Discredit the victim.
Apparently, their prenup had this clause where alimony went up significantly after 6 months of marriage. Jason used that to prove his story.
Oof. Twisting things to fit his narrative.
Lisa went to OP's city specifically for physical distance before filing anything. And OP made it super clear they were not back together romantically at this point. Safety first.
Right. Prioritizing her immediate needs.
OP also mentioned having a good job, could afford to help temporarily, but knew it wasn't a long-term fix.
These details really show how calculated Jason was being and how strategic Lisa had to be just to get away.
The Reddit comments on this update, mostly supportive. People were like, wow, what a ride, hoping Lisa would be okay.
Yeah, the tone probably shifted a lot once the abuse came out.
But there was one standout critical comment. Basically told Lisa not to live with OP, suggested maybe she was exaggerating, and reminded everyone why they broke up in the first place. Said Lisa was still married and should go home to her parents and deal with her crap.
Ouch. Harsh take. But, it raises that skeptical point about getting deeply involved in an ex's messy divorce, especially given their history. It's complex.
Definitely complex. Okay, fast forward again, almost 6 months later, April 7th, 2025, update number 2.
Right, let's see where things landed.
OP gives a quick recap. Lisa's escape, the support, the huge negative backlash thanks to Jason's affair story, confirms they followed Reddit advice. Lisa got her own apartment nearby soon after update 1.
Good step.
Independence.
Mom's still in denial about the abuse, but her dad secretly gave Lisa some financial help initially.
Oh, interesting. A little support there, at least.
Jason apparently went through a cycle.
Yeah.
Harassment, then trying to love bomb her back. Typical.
Yeah, very common pattern. Push-pull manipulation.
Lisa filed for divorce 4 months before this update.
Okay, moving forward legally.
Jason tried to contest it at first, but then Lisa's lawyers presented the evidence texts, proof of cheating.
The smoking gun.
Suddenly, Jason changes his tune completely. They negotiate an uncontested divorce. Lisa gets a significant alimony payout. Big enough, apparently, that she wouldn't have to worry about money again.
Wow. Okay, financial security then. But there's always a but, isn't there?
Always. The catch. A strict NDA.
Yeah.
Non-disclosure agreement. Lisa can never share any of that evidence. There it is. The silence is but. That's a tough pill to swallow. Financial freedom, but gagged, allows Jason to keep spinning his lies.
Exactly. As soon as the settlement news hit, Jason's story went into hyperdrive. OP and Lisa, now painted as these masterminds who plan the whole marriage just to defraud his rich family.
Unbelievable. And she can't even defend herself with the proof.
Nope. Friends back home sent nasty messages. Her family got harassed. Mom went nuclear, calling them con artists. Dad cut off all contact. All because Lisa's legally bound by that NDA.
That is just devastating. Facing that level of public condemnation, unable to share the truth, it's truly awful.
And now the relationship update we were all kind of waiting for.
Yeah.
Amidst all this chaos, OP confirms, yes, they did get romantically involved about 4 or 5 months before this update.
Okay.
But OP stresses they're taking it incredibly slowly, focusing on Lisa's healing from the trauma. Admits their feelings. Lisa never fully went away, and this whole ordeal created this really deep bond.
It makes sense, in a way. Shared trauma, their history. It's complex, but understandable how they'd find their way back to each other through all this.
OP finishes by saying they're conflicted. They really want Jason to face consequences, but they're also so worried about Lisa. Calls her a social pariah, says she's dealing with serious depression, is in therapy.
Yeah.
They asked Reddit for advice. How best to support her now?
It's a tough spot. Wanting justice, but needing to prioritize her mental health and recovery from both the abuse and the social fallout.
The final Reddit comments were interesting. One really smart one suggested Lisa talk to a lawyer about the NDA specifics. Like, what can she say? Maybe she can't show proof, but can she state facts or opinions?
That's a good point. NDAs have limits. Worth exploring.
Another suggested suing Jason for defamation. Argued the NDA shouldn't protect him from spreading lies.
Bold move. Could be messy, but maybe worth considering.
Then, of course, you had the skeptics. One just questioned if the whole story was even real, basically.
Always one of those.
Yep. Another critical comment called OP foolish for getting romantically involved again, saying they should have just connected her with DV resources and stepped back.
A harsher perspective, focusing on the potential pitfalls.
And one really insightful comment suggested Jason played it perfectly, paid the alimony, got the NDA, and now he's free to slander them both without consequence.
That's a depressingly plausible reading of the situation.
What?
He essentially bought his narrative.
And finally, just a general comment reminding people that, when you get married, you got to prioritize that relationship over old flames.
A more traditional take on boundaries after marriage. All valid points, really highlighting how messy this all is.
And there you have it, listeners. The absolutely wild, kind of unbelievable saga of the ghosted ex. Started as a simple AITA, should I block my ex? And just spiraled.
It really did. Allegations of serious abuse, this dramatic escape, romance rekindled under insane pressure, the social destruction, all from some unwanted phone calls.
It just shows how fast things can escalate, right? And how much can be hidden beneath the surface of what looks like a simple relationship problem.
Absolutely. And it's a huge reminder, isn't it, about the dangers of assuming you know what's really going on in someone else's life or marriage.
Definitely gives you a lot to chew on. Like, in a situation this messy where the truth is legally buried and everyone thinks they know what happened, how do you balance loyalty, support, and your own reputation? And what responsibility do we have to help someone who's clearly suffering, even if maybe their past choices seem questionable? Yeah, it's a lot.
It really is. And maybe, for you listening, it might be interesting to discreetly find those original posts. See the raw reactions as it all unfolded.
Yeah. Just remember our golden rule, please. Look, don't touch. Resist the urge to comment.
Definitely.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you next time for another plunge into the weird and wonderful corners of the internet.